Alright guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today. For this one we are doing another little out and about video, and this is the first one I've filmed in a good while actually because of this whole COVID-19 shit. But today we are in Tallinn, capital of Estonia. We're in the Kalaran district, which is in the north, right on the coast. It's right over there, and we're going to check out the best rated beer shop in all of the city. So this is Uba Ja Humal. Let's go inside and see how we get on. So yeah guys, I've already been in and had a little look around, and it's pretty damn nice actually. I mean, there you can see just over here the coastline and things, so you are pretty much bang in the north of the city. But yeah, Ullapuud, which basically means like beer shop, Uba Ja Humal. So yeah, coffee and beer shop. But yeah, when you come in, really lovely kind of modern interior and things like that. It's really very, very nice. You can see this one is actually like a tap room and a cafe at the same time, which is really cool. But yeah, you can look here, some nice books and everything like this. This is them recommending some of the different beers that they have for you already, which is kind of cool. But yeah, they've got two sections to the bottle shop here. So they've got their foreign side, and then over there they've got the Estonian side as well, which is really cool. So yeah, let's go through this. You can see they've got some nice Amar Breukers. I've not actually seen Amar in bottles for a little bit. These must be the last of the bottles that they're releasing, because as far as I was aware, all of the Amar beers from now on are going to be in cans. They've got some unusual Omnipoil things as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah, you can see it's more of these ones. Some of these Omnipoils I've never seen before. But yeah, they've got Sierra Nevada, different things down there. Some Icelandic stuff from Breukers, which is really cool. I've not seen these in a while as well, but cans and bottles. Then they've got Gairinger, the Good Horse, which is pretty awesome. Some Moor beers from Bristol as well. Then we're getting into a few other things up here. We've got some Spanish stuff, Napa beer. I forget exactly where in Spain that these guys are from. We've got a few more things from England, which is nice. Some Icelandic stuff, some more Icelandic things. Einstök, all the different types. They've even got the Doppelbock here, which is pretty damn awesome. But yeah, they've got some Finnish things as well. A little bit of Brekeriet from Landskrona as well. But yeah, then we've got some Cool Head from Finland. A little bit of Tool as well. Some Brewfist from Italy. I've not seen anything from these guys in a while. Bit of Dugas from Gothenburg, Cantillon from Belgium, some more lambics and things like that. Boon, Duyfonteinen, a little bit of Stone, a little bit of Mikkeller, Lindemans. I'm not sure who these guys are. Oh, this is Lehe. This is the Lehe beers. So yeah, a few more things over here. A little bit of Bacchus, a little bit of Bernard from Czech Republic, La Trappe from the Netherlands. A few more things, a few more Belgian beers, Duvel, Castile, Leffe, the kind of classics, Triple Carmeliet, all of these kind of things. You've got a few different kind of alcohol-free beers and stuff like this, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this one. We're on to the Estonian side of things now, so this is where it gets really interesting. So these beers in the lovely cans are from a brewery called Kebliku, which is nice. More Kebliku stuff down here. But these two, which is quite nice. These are from a brewery called, I think these guys are Kolk, if I remember rightly. But yeah, a few more things over here. Pertsa, another brewery that I haven't heard of before, but sure we'll get some time to try these. Then we've got Sori, of course, who are based in Estonia, but the guys who own this brewery are from Finland. So yeah, a few things from Pitla, another brewery that I don't know yet, but I'm sure we'll find out. Now we've got Puasta, who are from Tartu, and yeah, more Puasta stuff. I'm sure we'll get to have a look at these, but yeah, now we are on to Pohjola. So Puasta and Pohjola are probably the best known Estonian craft breweries if you are not living in the country, of course, but these guys are probably two of the older and more established ones. And then on to this side here, all of this is from Lehe Pruulikoda, and Lehe are actually the ones who own this shop here, which is pretty cool. So yeah, you can see lots of different Lehe beers. I will pick up a few of these to review for you, so you can have a look at that. There's lots of different styles in here, like Doppelbocks, Scotch ales, peated Scotch ales and stuff like this, so you know, you're going to have a bit of a field day with these. These look pretty damn nice, but yeah, good selection here. There's some Tanker as well. and yeah, a little bit of woolly knot. But yeah, you can see they've got a nice kind of fridge over there that you can pick out your some beers to drink. And then they've got a tap list up here as well, which is pretty cool. They've got about 10 taps that are Estonian and about 10 that are from different places. At the moment it seems to be a mix of English, Swedish, Icelandic, and then of course you've got more kind of seating and stuff over here. But yeah, that's it just now. Let's do a little bit of a tasting, because obviously when there's a tap room we want to do a wee bit of tasting. But yeah, this is all your beer shop for the moment. Right guys, then first tasting here at Uba Ja Humal. So I went for the number one, just fancied a wee light lager to start with. So this one is called the just the taproom Hele lager, coming in at 5.5% ABV, Dortmunder style. So yeah, should be a fairly light and crisp one. I've had a few sips of it already, but yeah, as you can see, nice, lovely kind of golden colour. This one exactly what you'd expect, crystal clear. There was about a finger of a white head on this one when we poured it. Kind of, I would say, kind of creamy colour, not perfect white, but yeah, in terms of appearance, exactly what you'd expect from a lager beer. Aroma wise, you know, this one, it leans towards the bready side of things. It's got a lovely, it's not quite as crispy and as sharp as you might get from the Munich Helles, of course. But it kind of varies, you know, it varies from brewery to brewery, but the beer itself, the aroma, this one is quite bready, quite bread crusty, you know, it really is kind of solid that way. There's a little bit of a biscuity quality to it, and then you've got the typical kind of German noble hops in there as well. So hoppy side of things, you know, it's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit kind of, there's a little touch of that light earthiness that you expect. It's a wee bit herbal almost actually as well, but some nice floral aromaticity, a little bit of lighter grassiness. You know, exactly what you'd expect. There's something telling me that this isn't only Hallertauer or Tettnanger that's in here, because it's the hoppiness just isn't. It's very, very smooth actually. I do wonder, could this have like Polish hops or something in it? Because the Polish hops are a little bit smoother like that from what I remember. It could just Czech hops and things. There's various hops that work well in these sort of Dortmunder style lager beers. But yeah, this one strikes me as being very, very nice actually. It's got a little bit of an ale type quality to it, this one. It really does smell a little bit thicker and a bit more ale like rather than a kind of straight up sort of lager beer. But yeah, let's do get the taste then guys, to everything. But yeah, so I was saying, it's very, very bready, this one. Straight across the middle of your palate, you've got that lovely kind of smooth, lovely bready malt in here. The malt tastes a bit different in this. I do wonder, could there be some Estonian malteries and things like that? But yeah, lovely big kind of breadiness to this one. It leans a little bit more towards a kind of brown bready type flavour that you're getting out there. A little bit more grainy on the back third of your palate and the middle third of your tongue. Smooth breadiness, a little bit of a kind of biscuity quality in the very centre of your tongue. But yeah, mainly kind of a nice smooth bready quality kind of blanket in the middle of the palate there. Hoppy side of things, a little bit of earthiness, kind of smooth earthiness in the back corners of the palate. As you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, wee bit herbal, a little bit floral on the front corners of the palate, then round the very front curve of the tongue, just a little bit lighter and more kind of grassy there as well. Behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you get the little kind of fruity, juicy esters coming out of the beer. And for me, it's kind of typical, you know, it's got a little bit of a peary ester to it. There's you know, I'd say maybe mainly kind of smooth and peary, to be quite honest with you. There's a wee bit of a slightly lemony, citricy note to this one, but I'd say it's very smooth and peary, maybe even a little bit gooseberry-like, very lightly gooseberry-like in its fruity flavours. But yeah, really smooth Dortmunder Helles, this one. I really like this actually. But yeah, I really like how this one. I like how this one goes together. Absolutely solid. But yeah, really, really nice. In terms of the mouthfeel, mid-bodied, definitely a little bit heavier compared to some of the other lagers that I've had. So yeah, nice kind of mid-bodied. Carbonation is really, really smooth on this one. Nice big oily quality to it. In terms of hoppy bitterness, about 25-ish IBUs, you know, something like that. Maybe even less than that, to be honest. Maybe about 20. I think is probably a good estimate for this. A little bit of fruitiness, as I say, not too much, but this is mainly a kind of malty, bready and lager, but definitely a nice one to kick off with as a taster for here at Uba Ja Humal. So yeah, one from Lehe Pruulikoda. Really enjoyed this. This is simply called the Taproom Helle Lager, and I think you can only get it here, which is why I kicked off with this one. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this. We'll see what else we can have a look at. Services. Right guys, okay, tasting number 2 then. So we're looking at one called Canina from Borbrukes in Iceland. This one is supposed to be an IPL, 6.4% ABV, but you know, when it was poured, it just looks like a New England IPA or something, so really strange, yeah. As you can see, lovely kind of hazy quality to it, just looks like a kind of mango pineapple juice or something like that. Wee bit of a white frothy head on this one, but yeah, definitely not what I expected in terms of appearance from an IPL. I've never seen an IPL that looks like this, I have to say. But yeah, Borbrukes, you know, I've had beers from these guys like years ago. You know, and these guys do some really nice stuff. The Egil Skallgrimsson brewery they're called, if I remember rightly. Or, yeah, but these guys produce the Seagull, if I remember rightly. I think these guys are the producers of the Seagull. But yeah, let's look at the aroma of this one then. But yeah, this one just smells like it actually just smells like a New England IPA. So yeah, oaty creaminess out of this one, a little bit of wheaty bitiness, pale malt, you know, kind of smells exactly as you'd expect from a New Englander. On top of that, you've got a bit of mango, you know, a bit of these kind of softer tropical fruits like pineapple, apricot, papayas, these kind of things. Yeah, on the green side of the hops, a little bit grassy, a little bit floral. That's it, yeah, the aroma, as I say, it's very much like some kind of New England beer, this one, but yeah, India Pale Lager. Let's see, let's have a taste of this one, yeah. So this one is Canina, 6.4% ABV from Borbrukes in Iceland. Let's go. Yeah, it really does just taste like that really does just taste like a New England, to be honest with you. And I actually asked the girl at the bar, is this because there's a mango pale ale above it, and I was like, is this the number 18? No, it is. But yeah, this is it. I'm just so surprised at how this beer's turned out. But yeah, this is just like a New England pale ale, I would say. So yeah, pale malty quality right across the middle of your tongue. A little bit of an oaty creaminess in the kind of just towards the sort of front of the palate. A little bit, wee bit of biscuity quality in the middle of the tongue as well. At back corners of the palate, tiny little bit of earthiness, some nice floral notes on the side of your palate too, and lighter kind of grassy notes in there as well. On the front curve, just behind the front curve of your palate, to say that's where the nice oily kind of juicy esters come out of the beer. And again, there's a wee bit of a stronger passion fruit to this one. There's a bit of kind of mango-y note to it. I would say maybe Citra and maybe a bit of Galaxy or something like that in this beer. Definitely like that. But yeah, this is one I thought, you know, I quite fancied a slightly stronger lager when I had this. I didn't expect something that was more like a New England IPA. It's very low bitterness in fairness. But yeah, it really is more just like a New England Pale Ale this than an IPL. So yeah, I think in terms of marketing I would have to criticise Borbrukes for this. But as a beer, generally speaking, this is nice, you know. Can't fault them for the quality of the beer, just that I think it's marketed as the wrong style. It really is like a New England Pale or something like that. So interesting point to make about this one, I have to say. Yeah, but I do like it, I will say that. The Hey Canina, really nice beer. But yeah, soft. The more you drink of this one, the more the oatiness comes out. You get a little bit of a kind of softer and kind of tropical quality to this. But yeah, mouthfeel, mid-bodied, carbonation is very smooth on this one. Leans a little bit towards the creamy side of things, right enough. It doesn't really have the crispness you'd expect of a lager, but yeah, I do like how it goes together, this one. Hoppy bitterness, I think about 20-25ish IBUs. Some nice juicy fruity qualities, like I said, and you do have some nice kind of fruity notes, and the malt is very kind of smooth and slightly creamy on this. So yeah, another very nice beer from Borbrook. It's a brewer that I really like, and it's quite cool to find them on tap here in Tallinn. They do have the Surter up there, and it's only a couple of euros, so I might be tempted to actually get a little one of that and do a tasting. It's been a very long time since I had the beer, but stay tuned, we'll do a few more tastings, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on my time here at Uba Ja Humal. We'll see. Right guys, so tasting number 3 then. So this one is one of Lehe's beers again. So this is called Lehe Pruulikoda, if I'm pronouncing that rightly. But this one is a 10% Saison. And I just kind of thought, well, this should be really interesting. 10%, so an Imperial Saison of some description. So yeah, lovely kind of bright golden colour, a little bit of haze to it. You always do expect a wee bit of haze from a Saison, but it's not the haziest style you'll come across, but it looks really nice. Lovely kind of little tint of amber to it, I'd say, but yeah, kind of creamy white hair on this one. Looks as you'd expect from a Saison. Let's have a look at the aroma and see how we go. And yeah, straight away with this one you can smell a little bit of that kind of big biscuity, brown sugary note. All of it is a little bit of a beast. You can smell the booziness in this beer, but underneath that you do get a bit of the kind of doughy yeastiness you expect of this style. Yeah, big bit of doughy yeastiness out of this one. Lovely and quite bready. I'm noticing this with the Lehe beers that I'm trying. They seem to be like very, very smooth, and slightly kind of thicker and very smooth in terms of their kind of malty qualities. I like that when you try things from different breweries and you do start to notice a kind of trend in the style that they brew in. So yeah, this is the second Lehe beer tonight. I love this with a little 100ml tasters. This is what I like. I love tasting different things. I don't really care about session and stuff. I love tasting things. But yeah, 10%. 10% Imperial Saison on this one. The bready notes out of this are lovely. Lovely smooth white bread, bit of yeastiness there on the backbone. It's not really banana-y or anything like that, just very, very smooth and like a lovely kind of thick, fluffy white bread actually. A little bit of a bread crusty note in there too. Wee bit of biscuit, as I said, because it's 10%, you're going to get that. But on the hoppy side of things, there's a wee tiny bit of earthiness to it. It's quite herbal as well. Nice little bit of floral note and a wee bit of a kind of zesty kind of grassiness there. There is a wee bit of a kind of lemony, limey zest kind of quality coming out of this beer. Yeah, I think it's fair to say the fruity side of this one really is quite lemon, limey, zesty. I think this beer might have a little bit of a kind of sour edge to it. We'll need to see, but yeah, the aroma of this one really quite representative of a kind of straight up Saison. But an Imperial Saison at 10%, like I said. Let's have a taste of this one. So once again, the Lehe Pruulikoda 10% Imperial Saison from Lehe Pruulikoda, who again own Uba Ja Humal. Yeah, skål, tervesex. Yeah, that's nice. Again, really smooth. Straight away with this beer, you get that lovely white bready quality that blankets the palate. As you kind of, as it develops a wee bit, you start to get you do start to get a bit more of a kind of the yeasty quality comes out of it a bit later. You can feel the malty breadiness there, but in the middle of your palate, you can feel the doughy yeastiness just kind of building up and building and building. The further that you go into the aftertaste. In the very centre of your palate, you do have that kind of big oily biscuity sort of thing. That's the boozy side of the beer coming out as well. Further back on the palate, there's a wee touch of graininess there. On the back third of your tongue, it is a little bit grainy. But yeah, that's the main kind of thing with it. It's pretty much what you would expect from a Saison. It's not doing anything surprising, but it strikes me as pretty authentic. But again, it seems, as I said with the Helles, the tap from Helles we had a while ago, it's really big and very smooth actually. But yeah, when you take a bit more of a kind of bigger sip of it, that's when you start to notice the booziness of this one. But that's another solid beer from Lehe. Have to compliment them on that. Back corners of the palate, you've got a little bit of earthiness there. As you move further forward, it gets a little bit more kind of herbally, if you like. A little bit of floral aromaticity on the front corners of the palate, wee bit of grassiness, and that's it. The fruity side of things, you've got a wee bit of a kind of lemony zest to it. It's got a wee bit of a lime quality as well. And there's a few, wee kind of peary, gooseberry type things with this one as well, which is really nice. But yeah, really big, kind of smooth, but also quite an oily Saison. So mouthfeel, I'd say mid-bodied, smooth carbonation, but at the same time, big oily feel to it. IBUs must only be about 25-ish for this one. Yeah, smooth malt base, does get a bit thicker because of the kind of yeasty qualities. Belgian style beers are all about the yeast, of course, and there's a wee bit of a kind of fruitiness, wee bit of a zest, kind of like citrusy zest on the very tip of your palate, but I do think that is really pretty nice on this one. So thumbs up to Lehe Pruulikoda once again. You will see me review another one of their beers because there is another interesting one on the board there that I'm very curious about. But yeah, this one was the Nelly Herja 10% Imperial Saison. Once again, Lehe Pruulikoda, who own Uba Jahumah. Cheers to every six. Alright guys, just a little closer look at the tap list for you there. So there you can see lots of different things from Lehe, of course, because like I said to you, it's the Lehe guys that own this. So we've got a nice Helles Lager, Dortmunder, Berliner Weisse, underneath the sparkling wine, a Bier de Gar, farmhouse ale, and regular Saison at number 5, a fruited Gose at number 6, Hefeweizen at number 7, another fruited sour there at number 8, another Saison at number 9, and yeah, an Imperial IPA at number 10. And obviously over here we've got lots of different things. So the Napa beer, who if I remember right are from Basqueland or somewhere up north in Spain. Anyway, Moor beer from Bristol in England, their hoppiness, that's a classic one, I had that years ago. The Astrika from Borbruch is there from just outside of Reykjavik. Omnipoil from Stockholm, not too far away from me. Another, the Wit beer, I think I actually had that one years ago from Borg as well. Then we've got the Jed IPA from Moor, which I think sounds really, really nice. Simonder, which is a mango pale ale, and another one, Canina. These are very new beers actually, I think, from Borbruchus, if I remember rightly. The Surter, which is one of the classic Icelandic beers, if you know the Lava from Översot. That's a kind of classic Icelandic beer, and the brewer moved, and then this is the one that he made after that. And then you've got a Thornbridge one, which I've never seen before, a chocolate, Imperial chocolate stout. So yeah, we're going to do a few tasters of these because the prices obviously compared to Swedish prices are very reasonable. So why not? Let's do a few little tasters. Right guys, okay, tasting number 4 then. So another one from Lehe Pruulikoda. This is the, how do we say, Kodanlöse Discreetne Volu, which they say, the Estonian guys at the bar say, this translates into the joyfulness of citizenship. So, or the discreet joyfulness of citizenship. So yeah, interesting one, but this is a Bier de Gar, 9.5% ABVs, rye barrel aged, so should be pretty interesting this, I think, actually. It's not too often you come across a Bier de Gar, so, you know, why the hell not, let's have a go at this. But yeah, as you'd normally expect from this style, it's got a lovely kind of rich amber colour to it. The head is kind of creamy and maybe slightly ivory coloured, something like that, you know, slightly kind of creamy. In this one or two big bubbles sticking to the very last, but you can see some small kind of carbonation on it as well. But yeah, really, really nice looking beer, this one. But the aroma on this is beautiful. I had a smell of it earlier before I started the video, and the aroma of this is just crazy. So you've got a lovely big kind of woodiness coming out of the beer. Obviously, lovely kind of sweet, that lovely big kind of smooth, sweet oaky quality to it. You've got a lovely you know, you really have a lovely kind of sort of brown sugary note to this. It's very like Werther's original, bit of a kind of sweeter caramel, butterscotchy type thing. That's really what you're getting out of this one. There's a wee bit of vanilla in there as well. It really has a bit of a kind of vanilla type to it. But the aroma, out of all the beers that I've tried tonight in this little tasting, this one really is very, very nice. Beautiful, beautiful smelling beer. It does seem to be the case when I look at the Lehe beers that they have here. The high alcohol stuff tends to be where it seems to be where they really sort of shine. I was impressed with the Saison that I had in the last tasting video, but this one, the aroma of this is the best one out of all the beers I've had tonight. But yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful smelling beer. That very, very malty. The Bier de Gar, of course, is a malty, really malty leaning beer. On the hoppy side of things, you've got a little bit of earthiness, you've got a little bit of grassiness like you'd expect, and on the fruity side of things, it's got a little bit of a kind of slightly kind of candied red fruity quality to it, which is nice. You know, there's a wee bit of a kind of slightly sharp, almost tart note to it, but yeah, kind of a little bit of a kind of figgy note, wee bit of raisins maybe. But yeah, very candied strawberries, a bit of raisin, a little bit of kind of sharpness to it as well. But yeah, really curious to see how this one turns out, because as I say, the aroma is really nice to this one. So this one again is the Kodanlöse Discreetne Volu, the joyfulness, the discreet joyfulness of citizenship from Lehe Pruulikoda. Let's taste this one. Slange, Skull, TRV6. Actually tastes quite different from what I was expecting from the aroma, but in fairness, the way it evolves really does become what you'd expect. It really, to me, it is like, it's got that kind of Werther's Original vibe to it straight away. I mean, you really have that, that kind of Werther's Original vibe out of this one straight away. It is really, really kind of quite strong. I like that. But yeah. So yeah, the backbone of this beer is the woodiness. You can feel that kind of woody smoothness just blank at the middle of your tongue. But at the same time, with the woody qualities, it's got a little bit of spice, which is obviously because of the rye, the rye bourbon or rye whiskey there. So you've got a nice kind of spicy note, and you will feel the beer getting drier as you go further into the aftertaste. But yeah, a little bit of a kind of biscuity malty quality to this one. Lovely kind of sweet caramelly notes coming out of the beer as well. But yeah, Werther's Original all the way. It's got that lovely, it's a big oily kind of mouthfeel you get out of this one. You do get a little bit of vanilla. If you move further forward in the middle third of your tongue, you get a little bit of vanilla out of it. It's a wee bit more grainy and spicy towards the back of the palate, but again, it retains that smoothness. On the sides of the palate, a wee bit of earthiness from the hops. As you move further forward, it does get a little bit more herbal, tiny touch floral, round the front curve of the tongue. A little bit lighter and grassy. Then behind the front curve of the palate, it's a wee bit more kind of fruity, I would say. So I really like that side of the beer as well. Let's focus on the fruity side of it now. So yeah, it does have a teeny little bit of tartness to it, not overly much, but again, the fruits are a little bit sort of candied and things. This beer, I mean, it is a little bit of sort of candied fruit you get out of this one. A little bit of strawberry, a little bit of fig, maybe a wee bit of a kind of sultana type quality to it actually, which is interesting. Product of the barrel aging maybe. But yeah, fruity notes on this one are quite nice. It's almost got a little bit of that kind of apricot-y jam type quality to it. I really like that about this, I have to say. So again, thumbs up to Lehe Pruulikoda for this one. On the mouthfeel side of things, then I would say this one, it's towards full body, top end of mid body, bottom end of full bodied. Carbonation's very smooth, lovely oily mouthfeel, hoppy bitterness. I think like 30 IBUs or something like that out of this beer. Yeah, the wee bit. I don't know if the kind of spice from the rye will give you a bit of bitterness as well, but yeah, lovely sweetness to the malty side, a little bit oily. And you've also got some lovely kind of juicy fruits to it as well. So yeah, this is a really nice one to try, very quirky. You don't find too many bier de gardes, as I said. So this one's the Codan Luce Discrete Volu Rye Barrel, 9.5% bier de garde from Lehe Pruulikoda once again. I think we're going to maybe do 2 more tastings and then we'll wrap up the video there. Cheers. Right guys, let's have a look at another beer then. So this is going to be the last one of the Lehe beers that I look at on this this little kind of beer shop, beer tasting sort of thing. So for this one, I thought I'd go for a little bit of a beast. This one is called Harassment by IPA. It comes in at 13% ABV. So this one is a triple IPA, a little bit of a monster. So in terms of appearance, this one is a kind of darker yellow coloured IPA. A little bit of haziness to it. I'm not sure if this one is a New England IPA with a bit of oats in it. I'm really not sure quite what to expect of this one, whether it will be more West Coast leaning or whether it will be more New Englandy or whether it will be something in between. Who knows? But yeah, in terms of appearance, nothing particularly surprising about it. The head on this one when it was poured was quite creamy in colour, about a quarter finger of a kind of creamy coloured head. It is only 100 millilitres, and as I've said, I really like the fact that you can just get 100 millilitres of a beer and just do a little tasting of it. That's what I really like doing on the channel. You know, for me the whole thing is all about the beer tasting, as I've said. But yeah, let's have a look at the aroma of this one and see how we got on. Nothing surprising about the appearance. So yeah, with this one straight away, lovely big tropical fruit notes out of this. Bit of passion fruit forming the backbone, wee bit of mango in there, some apricots, and you know, papaya forming that. So you know, this could be a number of things. It could be a bit, you know, it could be Galaxy, it could be a little bit of Idaho 7, there might be Simcoe or you know, even Citra in there. It could be any kind of combination of these, but you've got these lovely light kind of tropical fruit notes coming out of this beer. and that's forming the kind of backbone of it. But definitely a tropical leaning in this one. I'm pretty sure there's nothing like Amarillo or Mosaic or that in this one. It doesn't really have a kind of orangey element to it. Definitely kind of tropical fruits. Yeah, really tropical lean in this one. There's a little bit of an almost kind of limey quality to it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's Equinaut in this one, because it does have a little bit of that kind of juicy limey edge that you would always expect from Equinaut. The other thing that could be, of course, would be Motueka from New Zealand. I don't know how likely that is with an Estonian brewery. I'm not sure whether they prefer American hops generally or whether they prefer Australian hops, whatever. But yeah, definitely a bit of a kind of juicy limey kind of edge to this one. The fruity notes you get out of this on the hoppy side of things are lovely and big and oily, and that's what you normally want from a triple IPA. And at 13%, this one is a bit of a beast, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, the fruity notes on this, we've kind of focused on that right away because that is the thing that jumps out at you with this beer. On the malty side of things, there is a bit of a note. I think with this one, I'm pretty sure this does have oats in it, just going by the aroma. It's got that big kind of thick oaty kind of note to it. It's a bit more boozy and biscuity, you've got a bit of that Werther's Original type kind of note out of this one. At 13% you are going to get a little bit of that kind of brown sugary booziness out of the beer. I think there's a wee bit of wheat in this one as well, because you can pick out a little bit of that kind of slightly banana bready quality in this beer. But on the hoppy side of things, when we look at the green side of things, we've already discussed the fruit. It's got a good little bit of grassiness to it, but it is quite floral leaning. And with the hops that I mentioned earlier, all of those are like 11, 12, 13, 14% alpha acid hops. So there is a fair degree of that kind of nice big green hoppy quality coming out of this one. But the aroma of this is really quite nice. I think I maybe need to get a bottle of this to take away with me and review later on, because I think this is going to be a bit of a beast. But yeah, this one is the Harassment by IPA, triple IPA, 13% ABV from Lehe Pruulikoda, the owners of Uba Ja Humal here in Tallinn. Let's get stuck in this one. This is the last Estonian beer of the night, Tervisex. That's really nice. I mean, in the bar they were offering a 300ml of this. I'm glad I just got the 100. This is a really nice little taster, but I think if you, on first impression, it's a beautiful beer, don't get me wrong, but I think this is one of these ones that, it's one, if you buy a 330 bottle of this, you should share it. It's very rich. That's the first thing you notice about this beer straight away. But it's very, very nicely done. It's definitely one of these kind of modern IPAs that finds a bit of West Coast in it, but it also finds a little bit of a New England kind of side. I think it leans a bit more towards the New England, to be honest with you. But yeah, let's break this flavour down then. Across the middle of your palate, you do get a bit of that kind of pale malty note, but you can feel it really does thicken up the more you go into the aftertaste. Towards the back of the palate, you've got a little bit of the wheaty note to this one. It does have a little bit of that kind of slightly banana bread type vibe towards the back of the palate. As you move further forward to the front of that kind of middle third of your tongue, you can feel the lovely oaty creaminess in the beer. In the very centre of your palate, there's a little bit of a lighter kind of pale malty note. And you've got some nice kind of, in the centre of your tongue, you've got this lovely kind of island of sort of Werther's Original kind of biscuity, caramelly type notes out of the beer. At 13%, you are going to expect a little bit of that sweetness out of it just because of the sheer level of booziness that this beer has. But yeah, in terms of a triple IPA, especially a New England type one, because I think the New England ones are a bit harder to pull off than the West Coast triple IPAs, to be honest. In terms of a New England triple IPA, this is really pretty nicely done. So I think I will get a bottle of this to take away with me and do a more in-depth tasting on, because this is pretty damn solid, I have to say. But yeah, malty side of this beer, lovely smooth and kind of oily character coming out of it. Thumbs up to Lehe Pruulikoda for that. Yeah, that's really nice. On the green side of the hops then, back corners of the palate, a little bit of earthiness there. Nice little bit of floral aromaticity on the front corners of the tongue as you go around the front curve of the palate. That floral quality does linger there, but it's a bit lighter and grassy then. Behind the front curve of the palate, you've got that nice kind of fruity character out the beer, and it's quite oily on this one. Normally you expect the fruity character to be a little bit oily on a beer like this. If you go towards the back of that front third of your tongue, There's a bit of the darker passion fruit there. As you move further forward, it gradually evolves to be more mango-like, maybe a little bit of papaya, apricot notes. There is almost a little kind of undertone of an orangey quality to this one, but I think there is a wee bit of a limey note as well. I said from the aroma, I wouldn't have thought there was mosaic in this, but from the flavour, there is definitely a hop in this beer that leans a little bit towards that kind of orangey side of things, and I think that's quite a nice. It is quite a nice aspect to this beer, I have to say. But yeah, that's the oily fruits, the oiliness in this one. The level of oiliness in the fruits in this beer is akin to a West Coast IPA, but the way the malt base and everything goes together is a bit more akin to like a high alcohol New England IPA today. So this is a really interesting one. It's a kind of fusion of different styles, if you like. The bitterness though is most definitely New England level. So yeah, on that note, let's look at the mouthfeel. Big full-bodied beer, this one, no doubt about that. Carbonation's very smooth. The mouthfeel is quite is very oily on this one. Hoppy bitterness, I think 40, maybe 50 IBUs in this one. It's kind of in that sort of region. The malt base, very, very smooth. Good bit of creaminess, like I said. Fruits are quite oily and yeah, big and oily fruits in this one, which is, as I say, more of a West Coasty trait. But the malty base on this one is most definitely a kind of a New England sort of thing. But yeah, this was really nice. This one, the Harassment by IPA, 13% Beast from Lehe Pruulikoda. Again, the guys who own this bar. This is the last Lehe beer you're going to see. We'll do one more tasting, and then I think we'll call it a night at that. Cheers, Tervisix. Alright guys, last tasting of the night then. So for this one, we are going to go back to Iceland, and we're going to have a look at a beer that's a little bit of an Icelandic classic. So we're going to Borgbrukus, who are from just outside of Reykjavik, and we're having a look at another incarnation of the Surter. So this is number 73. If I remember rightly, the original Surter was like number 11 or something. Number 17 also springs to mind when it comes to the Surter beer. But yeah, from what I understand, the Surter was derived from the Ulvasult lava, because the brewer who worked for Ulvasult, he moved to work for Borgbrukus, and then he started developing the Surter as a kind of development of the lava recipes, from what I understand. But yeah, this is the Surter 73. Behind the bar they do have a bottle of Surter number 30, but like I said, I think the original Surter is like number 11 or number 17. Those are the two numbers that are sticking in mind, but don't quote me on that, that could well be wrong. But yeah, pretty damn cool to see Surter regardless. So yeah, this one is an 11.5% Imperial Stout, as you would expect from a beer like this. You know, dark ebony kind of colour. There's, you know, you're not going to find any way around that. Big dark ebony beer, this one. There was a little bit of head on this one. It poured, you know, a kind of dark, very light tan head. That faded away very quickly to be a very thin foamy layer, then it faded away to be nothing. But yeah, in terms of its appearance for an Imperial Stout, nothing surprising about this one. Black as night, this beer. Yeah, let's have a little look at the aroma then, and just see how we get on with this one. Really curious about this actually. So straight away with this beer, it smells like it's been barrel aged. It didn't say on the board whether it was barrel aged or not, but straight away with this one you get those lovely woody infused notes out of that, kind of smooth oakiness to the beer, a little bit of a kind of brown sugary kind of thing in there, like, you know, the sort of butterscotchy bourbon barrel type aging type thing. You do get that out of this beer. There's a bit of a sweet vanilla to it as well. It's got a little bit of that kind of almost kind of stewed raisin kind of Christmas puddingy type quality to it as well, which is quite interesting. So yeah, that's what's forming the backbone of the beer here, sort of Christmas puddingy, cakey sort of vibe. But yeah, there's definitely some sort of like bourbon barrel aging or something going on with this one. It really is quite quirky, to be honest with you. I like that about this beer. Yeah, so lots of brown sugar to it. It's got a little bit of the kind of maple syrupy, you know, very light kind of caramelly notes coming out of it, which I do like. Yeah, lovely. Just lovely qualities coming out of this beer, I have to say. It's a big thumbs up from me, no doubt. But yeah, juicy. You know, the fruity notes that come out of this are very nice as well. You've got a bit of that kind of medicinal cough syrupy type thing coming out of this one. As I say, sort of Christmas puddingy notes, you know. figs, dates, plums, raisins, these kind of things on the fruity side of the beer. A bit of a kind of blackcurranty, blackberry type quality to it as well. So I really like how that, I really like how all of that goes together with this beer. It really is very, very nice. The aroma's very nice. It's really a very cakey smelling Imperial Stout. This, you've got a bit of dark chocolate in there. The high cocoa, the 80-90% cocoa. Bit of a kind of sweet caramelly brown sugary quality as well. Again, quite toasty. It's almost got a bit of coconut to it, this one as well, to be honest. There's a sort of coconutty vibe to this one. But so much going on in the malt base here. The hoppy side of things, a little bit of earthiness, wee bit of grassiness. Other than that, you're onto the kind of fruity side of the beer, which we discussed earlier. Take a bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this, because it is really nice. The number 73 variant of the Surter from Borbrugghus, just outside of Reykjavik in Iceland. Let's have a taste of this then and see how we get on. Slanja, Skal, Tervisek, since we're in Estonia. Cheers. Oh yeah, just going by the flavour of this, barrel aged all the way. You can feel this is a bit thicker, a bit sort of thinner, sorry, than the original Surter. It really is very kind of coconutty and woody, this one. But it's a lovely beer. Make no mistake about that. This is a lovely, lovely beer. Yeah, it's really very nice. Straight away with this beer, then you get that lovely kind of woody backbone to the beer, kind of oaky and smooth, but you can feel the kind of coconut flavours are just infused into that. As you go towards the back of the palate, the back third of the tongue, a little bit of a roasty, black malty quality to the beer, a bit of a kind of well-fired bread crust thing. But as you move into the middle third of your tongue, some sort of high percentage cocoa in there, 70, 80-ish% cocoa, which is quite nice. In the middle of the palate, there is a wee bit of a sweet caramel there, but as you move further out from that, a little bit more kind of biscuity and almost maple syrup-like. But as I say, when you go further into the aftertaste, the woodiness, the coconut qualities, they really start to push their way out of this one. So I really like how that, how everything kind of fuses together in that regard with this beer. It's really nicely done. The flavour of this, very, very nice. Thumbs up to Borbrugghus once again. Yeah, you'll notice that it does get boozier and boozier the further you go into the aftertaste with this, but at the same time it retains, in terms of the mouthfeel, it does retain that kind of cleanliness you expect of an Icelandic beer. When I was reviewing the Icelandic beers back in sort of 2015, 2016, it was the cleanliness of the Icelandic beers that really kind of struck me, if you like. So yeah, that's something that's always stuck me, and it really does kind of come out in this beer as well. On the fruity side of things, behind the front curve of the palate, as I always say, you get those juicy fruity esters. For me, again, it's quite cakey. There's there's a nice little bit of a kind of juicy, kind of fruity note, a bit of a kind of datey, pruny sort of thing, a little bit like Christmas pudding, to be honest with you. And on the tip of the tongue, as you go further into the aftertaste, a little bit blackcurranty and blackberry-ish. But yeah, it's a really kind of infused, cakey, boozy sort of vibe that you get from this beer, and it really does work for it actually. So thumbs up to Borbrugghus once again for putting out a really solid Imperial Stout here. Mouthfeel wise, top end of mid-bodied, bottom end of full-bodied. I think that's a fair way to kind of place this one. Carbonation's very smooth, the mouthfeel again very smooth. It's not oily, this, as I say, it comes across as very clean at the same time. IBUs, I think you're talking about 40 or 50 with this beer. And as I say, you've got some nice kind of juicy, kind of slightly oily and smooth fruitiness coming out of this beer. But yeah, I like how this one goes together. It gets a thumbs up from me. The number 73 variant of the Surter from Borbrugghus up in New Zealand. A really random find here in Tallinn, of course, but I was a great fan of Icelandic beer back in the day, so it was really nice to find this one. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this. This will be the last tasting video. I'll give you my final thoughts on Uba Ja Humal in a few seconds, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Cheers. Alright guys, well, let's just round off the night here at Uba Ja Humal. I had a really nice night here. I got to try maybe 5 or 6 different beers on tap. 2 or 3 euros for a little 100ml taster of some of these beers was just really quite nice actually. I think I spent like 15 euros on just tasting different beers, and 15 euros for the equivalent of a flight of beers, is pretty damn good. But yeah, massive shout out to Aneta behind the bar. She was really nice, chatted to me about Lehe Pruulikoda, who, as I say, own this bar. And yeah, I had a really nice night here. I ended up buying like 10 bottles of beer, 10 bottles and cans. So there's 10 Estonian reviews coming up for you over the next little while at least. So yeah, definitely come and check this place out if you find yourself in Tallinn. Really worth it. I'm not sure why the light behind me is appearing like a blue junky light rather than, you know, the kind of bright white that it is. It's just the camera being a little bit strange. But yeah, Uba Ja Humal in the north of Tallinn, definitely worth a visit if you find yourself here. I hope you've enjoyed another little out and about video from Rampant Lion Reviews, and you will see a few more of these over my time in Estonia. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Make sure you check out Uba Ja Humal in the north of Tallinn, Kalaran, if I remember the name of the district rightly. But yeah, awesome place, and I do recommend you check it out. Slanja, Skull, Tervisix, catch you on the next one.